Good evening. It is 5:30 and it's time for us to begin our meeting. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, Ms. Rhonda. Here.
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 Present.
Thank you. The first thing on our agenda is our student invocation and flag salute. Student invocation is by Glenview.
Have a real tall student.
Okay.
I don't know if we can do an adult invocation.
What?
It has to be a student.
It has to be a
It
student.
has to be a student.
Okay.
So you can lead us in the pledge.
But you can do the pledge.
The flag salute. Oh, okay.
There we go.
Oh, we have a student.
Yeah. Does she want to do the invocation or no? Okay. We'll just proceed with the flag salute.
This is Lindsay Woodard. She's going to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you. Are your parents here with you? Parents, where are we? Thank you. Next, we'll have our vision, mission, and moral purpose, and we'll start to the right.
Our vision statement is our community, our schools, where your future begins.
Our mission statement, the North Rock School District will prepare all students for their future by offering a well-rounded, rigorous, relevant, and innovative education that allows each child to achieve their full potentials in a safe, supportive, learning environment to be future ready.
Moral purpose. As a community, our moral purpose is that all children will achieve, have a high-quality teacher, have a high-quality leader, and a supportive learning environment. We will not allow an achievement gap in the North Little Rock School District.
Thank you. Now we're down to the fun part, recognition of people, event, and programs.
And we'll welcome the proud principal of Glenview Elementary School, Mr. Kelly,
All right.
which this is a parent-teacher conference day, so they have differentiated their student presentation.
Good evening, Dr. Palewski, Madam President, members of the board of the North Little Rock School District. We won't be before you long. I have some wonderful colleagues here. Assistant Principal Ms. Jennifer Fletcher and a dyslexia interventionist, Ms. Sherry Haley. And we wanted to just simply bring to you Glenview. And you are correct. Yes, today is a parent-teacher conference day. And the fair is going on.
Yes.
That's something else.
Tough to
But
compete.
we've created a video to highlight Charger Academy. It's a program in which we experienced great success last year, and we're planning on doing it again. But we have some students in the video, some parents in the video, and some of our staff members. And we would just like for you guys to just simply watch and enjoy. Good evening, members of North Little Rock and the North Little Rock School Board. My name is Dwight D. Kelly, principal of Glenview Elementary, home of the Chargers. I'm very proud to share the story of our Charger Academy, an after-school program that's helping our students gain ground and grow in ways we're truly excited about. When we launched Charger Academy, our goal was simple: to provide a targeted, high-quality support for students who needed a little extra help mastering foundational skills in literacy and math. This program isn't open to every student. It's reserved for those who can benefit from the most focused small group instruction. Charger Academy, we met 3 days a week on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Parents played a key role by committing to consistent attendance, timely pickup, and encouragement at home. That shared commitment between school and family, it made a difference in the progress of our students.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Mayra García. Vengo a hablarles un poco acerca de Glenview y de mi experiencia en Glenview. Tengo 2 niños en esta escuela. Quiero compartirles que ellos están muy felices de estar aquí. Es un área muy bonita, las personas están allí siempre para apoyarles, para ayudarles. Los maestros, cualquier consulta que ustedes tengan, ellos van a estar ahí para ustedes.
The Charter Academy was great for my family. My son grew 22 points thanks to the Charter Academy. He liked the small group settings, and his teacher was awesome. We can't wait to see the Charter Academy return.
My name is Melinda Tyeska. I'm a former Glenview alumni here from 92, 93. My children attend this school. They benefit greatly from Charter Academy. I saw an increase in my son's comprehension with reading. They both feel like it made them feel exclusive. It made them feel involved. They felt like they had one-on-one communication with the teachers and the personnel because it allows them to feel that someone's invested in them. They did ask if it was going to be brought back this year. I said, you know what? We're going to ask and see. But they greatly appreciated it. They looked forward to it. And I saw less of a hassle on my end as a parent to get them engaged. But I definitely saw a significant impact on my son. And that's on his reading and comprehension. So I think that the program is well worth it. And I enjoy it and I love living very much.
Charter Academy is this after-school program where teachers help you with like math and reading. And also, my favorite thing about Glenview Academy is that teachers help you and helps you get better at things like reading and writing. One thing I learned from Charter Academy is my multiplication and reading comprehension.
Hi, my name is Lindsay, and what I liked about Charter Academy was that it was giving me different strategies for the Atlas test, and it helped me grow on my paperwork that I was doing in 4th grade.
Hey, I'm Natalie Hicks, and I'm one of the inclusion teachers here at Glenview Elementary.
And I'm Mariah Black. I'm the 4th grade math teacher, and we love Charter Academy.
We were able to utilize several different co-teaching models during Charter Academy. It helped us to get to really know the students so that we could really dial in on specific needs in both literacy and math.
So 2 of the days were spent on literacy and 1 day was spent on math. While one teacher was able to teach, the other would aggressively monitor, and we were able to hold multiple small groups at the same time. Charter Academy benefited both students and adults, and we hope to be able to do this intentional work again this year.
This academy helped provide services for our students. We were able to work with small groups of our kids in each grade level, and we were able to touch on subjects in math and reading, areas where the students were struggling, and to really take a deep understanding in their learning. And I just thought that experience from last year was really amazing. I mean, parents were involved. We had better communication with them, and you could tell that the kids were excited to come to Charter Academy.
Last year we were able to really support our children, especially those that needed a little bit of an extra push, and those that were higher level kids, we were able to really meet some of their needs as well. We've seen a lot of growth in our classrooms. Our kids were excited about coming, and they were ready to be engaged because it was smaller groups. Also, one of the things that was really good that I heard from all teachers was making a little bit of extra money, and that was helpful for us.
We were able to see throughout the course of our Charter Academy tutoring program, all of the students that had 70% or higher attendance were able to grow 1 level, whether that was level 1s to level 2 or level 2s to level 3s. We were able to see great growth. We were able to see true improvement in the classroom as well.
What is going
great about Charter Academy is that it really helps those struggling students, the ones that, might be a little bit more shy in the classroom setting. It's a smaller group, so they feel a little bit more confident to speak out, and we're able to tailor their interventions to that grade level standards that they're still working on. Teacher, read that for me. Check it one more time. Go. All. Spell another way for me. Let's pick it up. F-A-L-L. Good job. Okay. Kids are so ready and eager to learn, and Charter Academy just gives us that extra emphasis to say, hey, you can do it, and I believe in you.
At Glenview, we believe every student matters, every moment counts. We believe that the Charter Academy and our dyslexia interventionists are helping us make that belief a reality. Those programs are more than just tutoring and intervention. It's about building a culture of success, effort, and pride that extends far beyond the school day. Thank you so much for giving us your attention and time. Go Chargers!
Mr. Kelly and team.
One of the biggest things we wanted to make sure everybody heard was more time. Kids need more time. And also, we wanted to highlight dyslexia interventionists. These two people on my right, she's a former dyslexia interventionist, and she has done a wonderful job, Miss Haley, moving kids. And we dare not come to this table and not highlight all of the dyslexia interventions throughout the district, because they are doing a wonderful job.
Sir.
I'll say that we've had many students that have gone through the dyslexia program starting at second grade. We were able to dismiss several students last year before they went to middle school, just because they were able to attain the knowledge and grow developmentally. We're really excited about the new BUILD program and able to offer this to kindergarten and first grade and kind of get that early intervention. So we're not being reactive, we're being proactive. So we're really excited about that.
And we're grateful for Miss Amanda Powell. Yes. And we're just grateful for the opportunities for small group instruction. Thank you guys so much for your ears and your listening.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
It's wonderful.
Special recognitions.
Yep.
We need to do this at all the schools. We need to have this at all the schools. Elementary.
Good evening, board members and community. We were going to be recognizing Miss Megan Tillman. She's a parent of a student at Boone Park Elementary School. We'll have you come up, and I'll read something that was written especially for you.
Wait a minute, where's Titus? Come on, Titus.
Oh, that's Titus from the other day, isn't it?
Yeah. Come on, Titus.
And Mr. Jones, you can join us as well. And Mr. Patterson, you can join us as well.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Titus.
So these are the remarks that we received about you, Ms. Tillman. It says, Mr. Jones wrote this. He says, I've had the pleasure of knowing Ms. Tillman for the past 3 years, and during that time, she has consistently demonstrated her commitment to education and community engagement. Ms. Tillman is a passionate advocate who goes above and beyond to ensure that not only her son, but all students have access to meaningful educational opportunities. Her presence is felt both in the school and throughout the community, where she actively supports initiatives that make a lasting difference. Boone Park is fortunate to have such a dedicated and visible advocate for children and families. Congratulations to you.
Ms. Tillman, on behalf of the entire school district, Mr. Jones, you did a great job. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Officer Patterson, would you like to say a couple words?
I would. Ms. Tillman, you remember when you told me I refused to lose him to the streets? Mm-hmm. You told me that several times. And y'all, I have watched her without a car walk to the school, and that was her assistant principal at that time. several days she come up there. She's gonna come 3-4 days a week, walking in the cold, walking in the rain, popping in, checking on Titus, along with having lunch. Yes, yes, she is going to hold Titus accountable for everything. Now, with kids this day and age that love being on phones, that love playing games, this lady have Bible study at her home at the table. Every morning they pray in the car before he get out the car, every morning. Along with the Bible study, he wasn't showing as much interest as he needed to. He wanted to play games more, be more excited about it. He lost his phone for darn near a whole month of September because she's serious about him and his Bible study and his studies. And he's super in football, I know that. But if he do not do what he need to in the week time, this lady is going to pull him. She's the head coach.
Ms. Tillman, is there anything that you would like to say?
I'm sorry, I'm emotional. Yeah, how y'all doing today, by the way?
How did they get you?
How did they get me here? Well,
What did they say?
Dustin called me. Who is Dustin? Oh, how you doing? He called me and informed me about this the other day, and I had to almost pull over because I was a little overwhelmed because you feel sometimes that you don't do enough for your kid. I'm sorry. But I'm going to save mine. 2 strikes on his head he has already. 1, he's black. 2, he's a young man. And before the streets get him, I'm going to pull him first. I don't tolerate the bullying. I don't tolerate the talking back. I don't tolerate a lot of things. We're not privileged. It's earned. My support system comes from Mississippi. I'm native of Mississippi. I have a great support system here as well with family and friends, but no actual biological family here besides me and my son. Single mama, he know I don't play. Not only about him that I don't play about nobody else's kids either. I love all kids. Do I care more about mine than others? No. But do I put them and treat them as they are mine? Yes, I will. Will I discipline your child? Yes, I will. And my son know that. I'm proud of him. My parents did a phenomenal job with me and my sister, Deborah and James Smith of Vicksburg. And today is my sister's birthday. And she is in Mississippi, DeBrocca. Your TT birthday is today. And but I'm Superman proud of him because when I did go on a child sabbatical with him last month, he had 25 minutes. I don't care what time you started, what time you stop it. That's your time. If you go over your time, you're going on punishment. If I have to ask you more than once or twice, you're doing 20 push-ups. I am strict on him because I'm trying to save him from doing something that others done and can change their life from. So my honorary, I'm very much appreciative of Mr. Jones, Mr. Teddy. If I need Mr. Teddy, he on his way. Ms. Boss know me from, like she said, peeking over the fence. In the presence, in the absence of Miss Tilly, phenomenal young lady, Miss Valley, Miss Stroud, I have to give her props as well because she said trust the process 2 years ago because his school year wasn't going the way it needed to, but I knew that the inside of him was going to grow, and it starts at home. So I am very appreciative for this, most definitely. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tillman. What a model parent.
That's it. Alrighty. We are down to public comments. Just a second, let me get my sheet up here. All right. Per Arkansas Code 613-619, and according to Act 902 of 2025, citizens who desire to speak during public comment must sign in prior and will be called to the podium. Speakers must meet one of the following criteria according to Act 902 and listed on the sign-in sheet. Reside within the school district, a parent or legal guardian of a student in the district, or be employed by the district. Public comment is not a question and answer period, and as such, school board members and the superintendent do not respond to the public comments during a meeting. While we do encourage you to speak respectfully and professionally, further citizens will have no more than 3 minutes to speak and will not be allowed to make comments that shall prejudice the board of directors concerning student or personnel matters that could come before the board for disciplinary or employment considerations, or that is in conflict with other district policies or laws. Further public comments that include slanderous remarks about school district employees or that would violate the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA, are strictly prohibited. Personally identifiable information, discussion of a student educational records, or reference to student directory information is not permitted during public comment period. Speakers who violate these guidelines will receive a single warning and be respectfully asked to redirect their remarks. Should the speaker continue in violation, the board president will end the speaker's time and move on to the next individual. If the public comment goes beyond the 30 minutes, the board may require all public comments that go beyond the 30 minutes and are not matters that are on the meeting's action items agenda to be held after the agenda items are held. We have one public comment, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Rhonda, and it is Ms. Elizabeth Huggins, sorry.
You got your timer? You got my timer? What? Do you want me to time you, or you got your timer? You're good? Okay. Then I'm not
I know how to follow the rules.
Then I'm not gonna start the timer then.
I can follow the rules.
Okay.
That's why I have a script.
Okay, you're on your own, kid.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Huggins, and I am a resident of North Little Rock. As you all may be aware, October is Dyslexia Awareness Month, and I am grateful that the district acknowledges this with posts on social media because many other districts do not. As I'm sure you are also aware, this year thousands of third graders in our state face possible retention. An overwhelming majority of third graders in this district would have been retained this past year under that law. Your third grade teachers are terrified that this is going to come down on their heads. I've had several of them reach out to me. These kids have had 3 years of instruction and 3 years of screening prior to entering those third grade classrooms where they're arriving significantly below where they need to be. I'm thankful for Carmen Langston hosting an informational meeting on Monday. I was able to be there for part of it, but I missed part of it. I know it was recorded, and I hope that recording is allowed to be is out for the public, for those who weren't able to attend. Ms. Langston is going to present some of the data to you that was presented in that meeting, and while there's promising data in there, there's also still a lot of work to be done. As you know, it's Parent-Teacher Conference Week, as we've heard, and it's the season. October is the season for parent-teacher conferences, which means that my messages are blowing up with parents from all over Central Arkansas looking for either a tutor or an advocate. I've had 4 messages from new people alone today. I am at capacity for dyslexia therapy. I refuse to work 12 hours a day to pick up the slack of where the schools are dropping off. But I will always make time to advocate. Kids don't need tutors. They need high-quality instruction. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're down to executive closed session. Executive closed session per North Florida School District Policy 1.14A stating that private or closed discussions by the board may occur as part of a regular or special board meeting. Executive sessions may be held only for the purpose of considering employment, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of an employee, or to discuss matters of pupil punishment if requested by the parent or legal guardian. No resolution, agreement, or motion considered in the executive session should be legally binding unless the board reconvenes in public session and presents the item for vote of the membership. Finally, Arkansas Code Title 25, Chapter 19, Section 106(2)(c)(1) states, the specific purpose of the executive session shall be announced in public before going into executive session. Please join me in the executive closed session for discussing the following matters: employment, appointment, promotion, demotion, disciplining, or resignation of an employee. We are back in session. Our next agenda item, there is no legislative update, so we're down to classified and licensed personnel committee reports.
Welcome, Ms. Cherry.
Oh, classified. Oh, okay. Yeah, 'cause that closed the door back there after two.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
the door open.
Teddy's gonna come back.
Okay.
You got it? You got it.
Good to go. Oh, this is different.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. We good?
We're good.
Yeah, good.
Real short and sweet. I just wanted to say that the 2025 legislature, the Arkansas School Board, released their model policies, which incorporates all legislative changes as example to the committees as to what their policies must have, and then how they can modify it should they wish. The CPPC has those modified policies, and it's part of what the committee will be reviewing. The main ones, of course, I'm sure you know, the parental leave, the anti-Semitism, and the sexual harassment, which is because you have to reverse it and go back to previous year's law. So those are the top ones that are going to require the most involvement. We do have those, and they're available for us to review. Other than that, basically, I'm just going to briefly go over our election process that we just went through. There were 4 positions originally open. There was the paraprofessional aide, the one at large, the food service, and the maintenance, operation, and custodians. So those were going to be the 4 representative positions open for election. So we opened it for nominations. We left it for 10 business days. We left it open. We received nominations for paraprofessional and at large. We did not receive nominations for food service or maintenance, operations, and transportation. So we reopened it for additional nominees, and we added 2 more at-large positions just in case we didn't get a nominee for the food service and maintenance, operations, transportation. With the 2 additional at-large, we would still remain the same size. So we opened it up again. We got more paras and more at-large nominees. Did not get any food service or maintenance, operation, transportation nominees. So we went ahead with our election because we'd gone through 2 nominee periods. And the food service and the maintenance, operation, transportation, I'm going to, that's a lot to say, several times. They were on the ballot just with no nominees available to be elected. So given that, I'm going to introduce you to I have 3 new members on the committee with me. First, I want to say Ms. Ballard, her term was up. We're on 3 years terms. Her term was up, and she decided not to run for re-election. So we wanted to thank her for her service these past 3 years and say a fond farewell. She'll be around. She'll be around. We know her. We see her. Mr. Walters was serving for 1 year in the maintenance, operations, custodial. And I think I said maintenance, operation, transportation once. I didn't mean to do that. Maintenance, operation, custodians. He was serving in that position, finishing out a 1 year of a 3-year term. He decided not to return or run for re-election. So that's partly why that position was open to begin with. And so he and Ms. Ballard and myself decided not to rerun for our position. Decided not to run for our positions again. So we have, after elections, we have our new chair, Ms. Jackson.
Congratulations.
Our new
Ms. Jackson.
co-chair, Ms. Hughes. And our secretary, Ms. Jones, who was the paraprofessional electee. This is Ms. Lawson. She is one of the new at-large personnel representatives.
And Herbert Hamilton, Mr. Herbert Hamilton is another of our at-large representatives. And Ms. Claudia Moran is a returning at-large representative. Ms. Colquitt is a returning representative for the secretaries and clerks. And Mr. Charles Brown is a returning representative for transportation. So that makes up 8 committee members, along with Colonel Stanger, who's the superintendent administrative classified designee. So with that, do you have any questions? With that, do you have any questions?
Ms. McLean, any questions?
No questions, but thank you very much for your time that you served. I know we've got one over here that's going off. And then thank y'all for coming on and doing this. And also, Ms. Cherry, you've put in a lot of time. So we thank you for that.
I appreciate it.
For sure.
Ms. Moore.
Welcome and thank you.
Ms. Williams.
Thank you very much for your services, and congratulations to the new leaders. And keep in mind, team work, not by yourself. And she was so faithful, coming so many nights by herself.
Well,
But
Ms.
you
Jackson
were always there.
was pretty
I
regular.
know.
You always had to have the
girl.
finance person there,
So
you know.
it was wonderful that she sat back to watch your role as a leader. And I thank you for that. And thank you, Ms. Lawson, for staying on.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And thank you all for your services.
Ms. Person West.
I don't have any questions, but thank you all for your service and welcome and congratulations to the new ones.
There's one other thing, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna.
There's
go
one
ahead.
other thing I need to say. Later on in today's meeting, you will be presented with a calendar, 25-26 year revision calendar that Dr. Paluski and the LPPC developed. We was presented to the CPPC at our meeting on Tuesday. We approved the calendar that was given to us, and we're just going to let Dr. Paluski and the LPPC present that to you. But we want to let you know that we did approve the calendar, which is no more early release after October 8th, and 2 additional PDE days on March 13th and May 22nd. That calendar was presented to us, and we voted to approve it and adopt it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just gonna say, thank you for your service.
Yeah, everybody have a good night.
You too.
You too. Thank you.
Everybody
So
left?
there's not a LPPC report.
I don't believe there is an LPPC report
Okay.
this evening. So we
Moving right along.
Yes, ma'am.
Informational items. The first one is 12.1, the role of network instructional specialist.
So, Madam President, members of our Board of Education, I'll bring forward Dr. Leanne Stoll, our Assistant Superintendent of Network Support Services. And she and her team are going to provide a high-level overview. Remember when we reorganized and cleaned up from the MCLs and literacy coaches and math coaches and went to network instructional specialists. So tonight you're going to get a high-level overview of what the work is that they're doing and how is it different from where we were before. Dr. Stoll?
Hello, we have a lot of people. I'm sorry, we're trying to get organized here. Madam President, members of the board, and Dr. Paluski, I am thrilled tonight because we have actual principals and network instructional specialists from the building, and I also have the amazing curriculum team behind me, ELA, math, and science. I'm going to get it straight in a minute. So they are the ones that support the network instructional specialists in the building. So I'm just going to real quick go through just some quick slides. These are actually some of Dr. Paluski's slides, but our purpose tonight is just to tell you the difference from what we were doing before, and now we've moved to this new model. So I've got the role of the instructional specialist there. I'm not going to read it to you because they're going to describe their role to you in just a minute. And then we just have what it looks like: school, child, family, and community. And these wonderful people here support all of those things. Then we're going to look at the zones, you know, Network A and Network B. Tonight we have people here from Network A, our high school. Network B, our Lakewood. These two are from Lakewood. And Mr. Clark, sorry, he's going to get my seat when I get up, and I'm going to let him talk from Network B as well. And then this just is a list of all the network instructional specialists at each building. And then I'm going to turn it over to the wonderful and fabulous principal at Lakewood Elementary.
Please make sure you state your name for the record.
My name is Courtney Bost. Like they said, principal at Lakewood. I think they asked me to come tonight because Lakewood Elementary has, at least in the last 20 years, never had any kind of instructional coach because I taught there, so I mean I have the history. And so this is our first experience with the network instructional specialist, and I have Miss Wheeler down there. She has just brought a new level of expertise to the table, and not just in a coaching cycle, but also in all components, our RTI, our culture. I mean, it's a multifaceted thing that she's been able to do. She has shown me resources that are available for our teachers, or screeners that I had no idea really existed. And so it's been eye-opening for me to see. And she's then been able to work with my instructional aides to better, to be more intentional about our small groups for our kids who are, struggling, like our Tier 2 and Tier 3. And then I guess really the last thing is that she is just pushing me. I mean, for those of you who know me, I'm kind of loud, and I think I'm bossy. I mean, I know I am. And so, I mean, I get it. And so she's just pushing me to a different level of thought about instruction. And I'm not saying that I'm great, but I thought I felt good with instruction. But she's pushed me to a different level, and she's real good for me to be able to bounce instructional ideas off of. And I feel like, I don't know, it's just a really good working relationship between us. Or at least I think. You might.
That was a nice
That's all for me.
Thanks.
Okay. Good evening. How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
I am Rachel Wheeler. I am at Lakewood. I'm the network instructional specialist. And I've been asked to just give you a glimpse of what a day in my role looks like. I will be honest and say no 2 days look exactly alike. And sometimes days don't even resemble each other. But every morning I start the morning off and just check in with teachers. And that might look like just stopping in the hallway while they're outside before the bell rings. We might troubleshoot a lesson that they're about to do, or I'm just available there for answers to their questions. And then whenever the bell rings, the students go in, teachers go in, and the morning meetings begin. And when that happens, that's whenever I take my time in the office, and I prepare myself for the observations that I'm going to do that day. And by that, I mean I'm going through the lesson plans that the teachers submitted. Then I'm using our curriculum resources and looking exactly at the lessons that I'm about to observe, and just re-familiarize myself with those lessons before I go in to observe, so that I can give them the best feedback possible from me. So I do spend a portion of the day in the classrooms watching instruction, taking notes. Then I do send written feedback by email. I try to get that back to them within an hour of leaving their classrooms. And then I also do debriefs, not with every observation, obviously, but there are debriefs. They come to the office, and then we discuss their lesson, what went well, what needs to be adjusted, just reflection on their lesson. I also coach our new teachers in pacing and planning and a lot of behavior management. And then the rest of the day is dedicated to data, not just looking at data. We look at data and then intervene. The very first 9 weeks, I was very focused on our small group instruction and working with those instructional aides, as Ms. Boss has already mentioned. Ms. Boss had given us that bottom quartile, those students that were red flagging, and then our teachers, K-5, went ahead and did screeners, beginning of year screeners, in addition to the Atlas screener at the beginning of the year, so that we could go ahead and get our groups, small group intervention groups, made. Because the Atlas screener, y'all know those results weren't coming back until October. That's too long to wait to get those kids going with what they need. So we did get those developed, and so a large portion of my day is spent collaborating with those teachers and with those instructional aides that are rocking it. If you come from 8:30 until 2:30, you are going to see in every wing of Lakewood those instructional aides pulling groups. They stop for lunch. That's about it. And those groups are revolving. They're a revolving door. As students master those skills, they move on to the next group. And so there's where my daily time comes in, because I'm providing resources and strategies and manipulatives for these groups. Don't worry, though, those students, they are Tier 3, Tier 2 and Tier 3. They are still getting their instruction in class, and they are not missing the opportunity to have a small group with their teacher. So being pulled out comes after those first two criteria are met. So in general, in this position, I just assist teachers as needed, other than what I just told you. I do see where they have weaknesses, and I'll go in and help, but they also can call on me at any time, and I go and help them. It might be lesson planning, it might be actual help in the classroom because they're struggling through a lesson, might be help with small groups, or just managing those unexpected moments that every school has. And then I just do everything that I can to support BOST in making sure that our school is running as smoothly as possible, at least on the instructional side. And on Thursdays, I facilitate PLCs with every grade level. Another part of this role is communicating with and collaborating with our, it's another CC, curriculum coordinators. They are on call all the time, and I greatly appreciate them for that. But they also have monthly meetings. So far, it's just been elementary that I've been a part of. I don't think that we've done one with you guys. But in those meetings, which have been so beneficial, we have received coaching training, coaching tips. We were given from Dr. Carmichael a resource book. That's what we're working out of in all of these meetings. They provide us with guidance across all of the disciplines, and then update us, give us a lot of updates. And then I'm able to carry that back to Lakewood and provide that for the teachers. And just make sure that our instruction just stays aligned and consistent with all of the other schools. So basically, in a nutshell, that's not really a nutshell, that was a whole bunch of nutshells, but that's my day, just observing, planning, working with the teachers, working with the aides.
Great. Great.
Yeah.
Thank
So,
you, Ms. Rowland.
any questions?
For the record, my name is Michael Clark, principal of North Little Rock Middle School 6th grade campus. I have been asked to give the difference between having a network instructional specialist and not having one. So that would be essentially comparing last year and the years previous to what we currently have. In the past, we did have MCLs. However, they were not full release. They were partial release, which means they were not able to have that freedom to go into classrooms when needed. They were able to help their content at certain times, but they didn't have the freedom as our network instructional specialist does now. That is one of the big things that I'm seeing, where like Ms. Pack, who our network instructional specialist is, her calendar is already full every day of going into different teachers' classrooms that are asking for help. And that's one thing that I'm proud of, is that our teachers are not afraid to ask for help, and she's going in and providing that. The other part that I'm looking at here is providing coaching to our novice teachers. We've got, especially 3 of our core teachers are new. She's going in several times a week, making sure that they are okay. You know, not necessarily coaching, but checking on them, because as a new teacher, we don't want to lose them. So checking on them, coaching them, making sure they are getting what they need. We are working on a physical data wall. You know, a lot of times we are now going to the digital world and making those digital data walls. We are now looking at something we can see on the wall and actually move kids. We feel like that may be something as far as teachers and administrators will help us. Instead of scrolling up and down a screen trying to find a kid, if we can see it on a wall and move kids, that they may be something that we can see the whole picture instead of what is on a screen. So something that we're looking at doing and moving forward. The other thing is establishing consistent data points. I'll use last year as an example. Our data points were all over the place by teacher in one department. You know, math may have all kinds of data, and each teacher may have different sets of data that they're examining. This year, it's consistent, and each department is looking at consistent data. Making sure that student placement is where it needs to be, and that's especially in our reading. We have found several students, by no one's fault, that they needed to be moved to different reading classes to make sure that they're receiving the proper reading level and instruction that they need. In fact, for this second 9 weeks, we moved about 20-something kids either up or down a reading level because of interim assessments that we have seen that they have already grown that much, or we've seen that they needed that little extra help and move them down to another level. One thing that she has been able to do is, I know it seems small, but making sure that the core content classes have the supplies that they need, that they're not waiting, you know, weeks at a time to ask for different supplies. You know, if they need, language arts needs a novel to help supplement what they're teaching, she's coming to me and saying, in a couple of weeks, they're going to need this. Boom, we get it ordered, make sure that they have it on time. So those are things that she's in constant communication with me about. The other thing is she is in professional development with the teachers. For example, we have Writing Revolution that's going on that our language arts teachers are a part of. She's in the training. The Success Maker reading that we're about to start, she's in the training. So she has firsthand knowledge of what our teachers are being trained on. You know, as administrators, we're not always able to get into that, but she's right there with them in all of that. And then also ensuring that our pacing and our high quality teaching are taking place. We have to make sure that our Tier 1 teaching and instruction is where it should be. It should not be at its lowest level. We have to make sure that Tier 1 instruction is at its highest level, and that is what we're constantly preaching, and that's what she is monitoring each day, that she'll go into different departments and then come back and let me know, hey, we need to start looking at this particular content area because I think they're not pushing those kids like we should. So those are some of the things that, comparing last year to this year, that I'm seeing. There'll be a lot more to come this is a new position for us that I'm sure we'll find, but we are lucky to have this position, and we appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Autumn Thomas, and I am an instructional specialist at the high school and COE. And today I can honestly just say ditto to everything that they've said in terms of our day-to-day roles. So I'm going to talk about how I'm going to talk about the difference in the roles from MCLs to network instructional specialists and the difference in supports. So I have been fortunate to serve in this role since the initiation of opportunity culture and MCLs through this transition to network instructional specialists. So initially, when we implemented opportunity culture in the 2019-2020 school year, we had 6 full release MCLs that focused and worked with the core content areas. During this time, the MCLs focused on leading PLCs, doing the work of the PLCs, that is creating agendas, creating assessments, disaggregating data, leading those data conversations, assisting with curriculum development, all of the work of the PLC. And we also focus on coaching cycles. Those coaching cycles centered around the teachers, mostly centered around the teachers in those PLCs. In 2021, and again, we were supported by Opportunity Culture. 21-22 school year, we saw a transition in leadership at the district level and at our building level. Had a new principal, Dr. St. Louis, and during this time, year one, Dr. St. Louis implemented just a period of adjustment where she just listened, observed, and we evaluated our systems to see what worked and what didn't, and what we could do more effectively. So during this time, we basically stayed in the same roles. But year two, she implemented like a soft launch into distributive leadership. So toward the end of the 22-23 school year, MCLs co-led PLCs with some of the teachers. We still provided assistance in terms of creating agendas and assessments and looking at data and having the data conversations. But we were trying to focus more on transitioning those responsibilities to the teachers so then the MCLs could expand coaching and go beyond just the teachers in those content areas. So in the 23-24 school year and last year, the work of the PLCs was transferred completely to the content leads. MCLs supported the content leads in that work with data walls, data conversations, everything you've heard before. We supported them in the work, giving us the opportunity to again focus more on coaching. In doing so, we worked with Dr. St. Louis and the other administrators, instructional leaders to create better systems of identifying teacher needs and providing those supports, and creating systems for professional learning. So we were able to give that targeted support to teachers based on their needs and based on teacher requests. We also created curriculum systems like backwards design, and taught teachers how to use that and create systems where we could evaluate where teachers were where PLCs were in that process. And we were also able to just to strengthen our systems, because again, a lot of the support at this time came from building level support. So we had to build these systems ourselves to make sure we were meeting the teachers and the students where there was need. The difference in this year is we are still doing our same role, which is a focus on coaching and mentoring. But the difference between this year is the support that we've gotten at the district level. Before, a lot of the support was primarily focused on the elementary levels, which left us to create systems on our own. And thankfully, we had a good leader to help us create those systems. But this year, we've had the monthly meetings with the network instructional specialists. First, let me go back. In the 21-23 school year, I will be remiss if I did not say we did have district curriculum specialists who helped. They provided guidance and curriculum in regards to the PLCs, and we collaborated with district specialists like Ms. Higgins, Ms. Cruz, and Dr. Harbin in terms of providing teachers with what they needed, those teachers who we were working with on coaching cycles, so I did want to mention that. But in terms of coordinated support, this year has been the first year where there has been expectations of what our roles are, and there's been alignment across the schools in what those expectations are up front instead of in the tail end, and also systems and processes, resources that have helped to align the work in terms of coaching documentation, and in terms of just resources that make the work easier. So that has been refreshing to have those monthly conversations where we've been able to collaborate and confer with other network instructional specialists and talk about best practices and just provide support. So I'm thankful this year that we have clear and regular support, not only for the PLCs, but for the teachers that we're coaching, and that we are able to get that assistance from the district team. Thank you.
Ms. Person-West, do you have any questions?
I don't have any. Well, yes, I do. I take that back. how do you translate all of what we just heard from you all and from the team? How do we translate that into our graduation rate, and how are we tracking as far as long-term effect?
So, yeah.
Well, I mean,
So,
I mean, it starts, I think, at the bottom, all the way to the top. We have to be more aligned and intentional about what we're doing based off of what these ladies are helping us with, and I think the goal would be then to trickle up
So does it look like, I guess what I'm trying to understand is, I know elementary and secondary is going to be different, but what are you doing that is, because now we already have, like, say, the senior high kids, we already have those numbers already in the churn, if you will, but the ones that's like going to graduate this year or maybe next year or the year after that, our 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, I mean, are we trying to, I guess, gear towards or cater to that particular maybe level so we can try to?
yeah, so here's, if I'm following you. So what their primary role is to work directly with teachers. So right now, in all levels, they're focused in reading, ELA, in mathematics, and science in grades 3 through 10, because that's directly tied to their letter grade. And so what we know is if we grow kids, we will be able to change the letter grade. So they're very instrumental in working side by side, as you heard, all of that and the work that they're doing. High school is a little bit different. You still have those same areas in which growth is calculated, but you also have the graduation rate of the cohort, and there's a whole dissection of starting with your 9th graders, but everything in the system now being aligned, obviously, is that as kids progress and become proficient at level 3 and 4, that's all going to transition up through and including the high school. But if you're talking about specifically the graduation rate, now we're going to get right into 9th graders. How many credits are they acquiring to go on to 10th grade? The research is very clear if you have a very successful 9th grade year. So we want to see that cohort go from each year to year, as well as the courses that they need in order to graduate.
Okay. So I guess we'll probably look at more of like if it's trending more upwards towards, as we go on, is bringing up the elementary students up through the high school and all that, like the junior high and the high school, that start trending up.
Right. So like what they just finished, what they were just talking about is the screener level data that were required. So that window was like August 19th or something like that till September 9th. But we just got the state level data in earlier this week. So what that data is telling us is whether or not that little Greg is at risk or not at risk for a deficiency, let's say, in reading. But just like you heard here, we can't wait till now to be putting kids in intervention. So they've already been they've been putting kids in intervention tier 2 or tier 3, but they're using this as another piece of data. Now the next thing that will come about, which will be the measurement stick as it relates to our benchmark. So when we give that benchmark, now we'll take a look at, is what we're teaching, is that what kids are being assessed, and are kids making progress? So that's like the next level of trying to understand where are we right now. But they play a pivotal role each day, side by side. You heard a lot of working side by side, going in, looking at a lesson, like Ms. Wheeler said, before she goes in to provide that teacher. Or a lot of times they'll do side by side teaching and modeling on the spot with teachers. Planning's big, and they're experts in it, and they'll spend a lot of time, because we should see the direct correlation between, the same level of rigor that we expect in the classroom should be the same level of rigorous planning we should accept on the other side. And that's what their role is. And I think the other thing you heard that's different is they're getting professional development that they haven't had consistently across the district from our coordinators, and that's helping them translate that back to support the school. But it's also supporting our school principals with their work in instructional leadership.
And one thing I heard you say, Mr. Clark, was about knowing that this particular lesson is going to be coming up. So therefore, you're planning like ahead of time and getting your resources in line ahead of time. So I was happy to hear that. So we're not like trying to figure out, what we going to do this month? So it's already there. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Ms. Williams?
I am data driven, okay? I enjoyed your speeches. You were marvelous, and I know you're doing good work. No doubt. But in hearing you talk, I wanted to see some data to show me what's happening. Because listening to you, I know you're doing some things, but I want to see some proof. And I know what you're doing. I know you weren't just hired just to do nothing, but you all, in your reports, you say you are analyzing data. I want to see some data when we have the workshop next month. That's what I want to see. Education is driven by data. And if you are out there in the trenches, you got the data. And I know what you're doing, helping the principals. But when I know the grades of all of these schools, we just had a report card. They just got the report cards Wednesday. From those reports, we could have heard tonight the reflection of what has happened in 9 weeks for our schools that we've involved in. I know about the wraparound, some aspects of it. Like, I'll give you a good example. Like you say, you're doing a wraparound. If we had a wraparound up in here, I know that there were 556 students at Ridge Road, families that have been connected with. I know that they have placed 39-person families in homes. And with you all talking about how you helping the principals, tell me specifically how you are helping them. Give me some data, because otherwise, I know you working. I know it. I read reports every week. It's no data in them. I want to see education is judged on data. Because I want to see some improvement. I know you all out there to improve the school grades that we have, but show me how many students you have been connected with. How many principals have you been connected? What did you talk about? You talking about, well, we told them this. Well, what were the results of you telling them what you told them? That's all I'm saying. Thank you. I'm through.
Ms. Wonka?
Can I address that though?
Sure.
I mean, data, as far as with this new system, we're only 9 weeks in. We don't have a lot of, I would say, formal. With the Atlas interim coming, I think we will get and we're starting to take it. We're starting to get a real dose of current data. We've done all the screeners, we do. I think on what you're talking about though, on moving report card grades, that data is coming from Atlas, and as we start getting this interim report, then it allows for me to talk with her about these specific kids have to be pulled and they have to be taught X, Y, or Z. It's happening. You have to. That's what we're doing.
Thank you, Ms. Boss, because you're smart. That's all
I wouldn't go there.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Clark. Absolutely. Talk about all the data that you look at on a regular basis.
So, Ms. Williams, I've got some data for you.
Okay.
So we have taken the reading and the reading and writing of the Atlas Interim Fall. We just got back our reading results. We went from 16% last year to 25% this year.
Thank you.
That's in 9 weeks.
That's what I'm talking about. And that's what the board needs to hear, and the community is asking, what y'all doing? I can't tell them nothing. I can tell you how you all been working, but where is the data to prove how hard you've been working? That's all I'm saying.
So if that's the wish of the board, we can.
And congratulations. That make me feel good. Yes.
That would be a bigger question. I'll ask at another time, but go ahead.
Ms. Wonka?
My takeaways are you're working. There's some data coming out that we're seeing some results from, which is good. Ms. Williams is correct. The public is asking regarding the grades.
Right.
There's a lot of conversations going regarding the grades. I have 3 children who've graduated from the school district. They're all successful in their own right. The grades, the state grade did not define my child's success.
Right.
I will say that. They're important. It's what people look at when they're moving into our town. It's what people look at when they're choosing a school for their family. I understand that. But we also sat here, ladies, less than 24 months ago, and we were shown data that we were growing in such great areas.
Right.
But then the state came in and said it wasn't good enough to move that next letter grade. In some, we had one that moved. So I do like data. I enjoy it. My nerd comes out whenever it's presented. I like to geek out on it a little bit. But I'm also concerned with how the data, I guess, is presented to us regarding, I know there's growth. I've seen it. I've got family members in this school district still. My nieces and nephews, they come home, they read me stories, I read to them. They tell me about their day, and I can hear it. I hear the testimony within those children. I want to say kudos to you, Miss Thomas. You've taught all 3 of my kids. What's that say about us? And with that being said, you just made a very valid point. In the past, we have focused on the elementary. That's where the foundation starts. But now we're turning to the high school, and we're giving y'all the attention that you need and you deserve as well. And so thank you for bringing that valid point to our attention. So thank you all. You're all doing a great job.
Yes,
I can
you are.
see it. My children are success stories because of each and every one of you. Thank you.
Ms. McLean?
Listening to y'all, I can't help but think of one of my favorite phrases that y'all have heard me say before, and that's TWWADI. That's the way we've always done it.
What?
We're not doing that. And thanks to Dr. Paluski and this bold plan that we have with this restructuring, I see the changes that are happening. They're happening right over there at the table against the wall. They're happening, y'all are telling us exactly what's going on. What's the contrast? Principals saying, well, how is it different now that I have this network instructional specialist in my building with me? And all the ways, things that are happening now because we have that person. So the data is obviously important, right? Because we know we've got to move grades. But I'm happy to hear the things that y'all just shared with us tonight. I really appreciate hearing that. And yes, Ms. Dot, we know that y'all are working. And that's a good thing. And the data will come. We got some from Mr. Clark, but then you're saying we're going to have some interims that are going to come, and that will give some more data at that point too. But I just want to thank y'all very much for rolling into this. I've had people say, what is this network program that y'all have got going? So I'm going to be proud, and I'm proud to say, well, we're trying something different, and we're approaching things a little bit different, looking at things in a different way. And that's what we need to be doing, and that's what I'm hearing is going on. So thank you very much.
I would like to say I would invite any of you out to Lakewood Elementary. Come sit in a small group with our kids. Come into the classroom and see firsthand the teacher and the data that they're collecting. I mean, there's no way I can really show you in a presentation all the data, whether it be notes, observations, feedback from a coach. I mean, it
wasn't your day to do that, Ms. Boss.
But I'm just saying, come into the building and allow us to show you the actual data in real time. It changes daily. It changes weekly. I mean, it's fluid. It's ever changing. I mean, it just is.
Yeah,
day to day.
I think it's great. I mean, If you would like, we go through CobraStat, and know both of our principals know that process really well. It's the collaborative observation backed by their responsibility and accountability of statistics. We would be happy to run our CobraStat from each principal to each at a school board meeting. And so you can really see the data that they look at. They look at quantitative and qualitative. If that is the will of the board, we are more than happy to share that with you. We'll have each principal come, and they'll talk about the data that they're looking at, how they're using that data, and how to make changes. If you remember, at our last school board meeting, we've had our Tier 3 schools present, and they talked about how they were using data last year to how they're using data this year. So you just let us know. We're happy to do CobraStat in front of the board, and you'll get a really good, deep understanding of the quantitative and the qualitative and how many classroom walkthroughs they're doing together collectively or with our support staff. Our support staff that comes in and does a walkthrough, we're going to look at that data next week. You just tell us when, and we'll be happy to come and have each principal present their CobraStat data. I think that would be wonderful.
I just had one question, if you don't mind, Madam President. Going back to slide number 6, Dr. P, I noticed something, and I meant to go back and ask you about it. As far as with the academy, how does that? It says vacant.
So this slide is not accurate.
Oh.
There is, and I do apologize. That position was hired at NLR Academy, as well as Ms. Thompson is the instructional specialist in math, and we do have an instructional specialist at the 7th and 8th grade campus that is in literacy. So this is an outdated slide.
Okay. Okay.
But they're all staffed.
Because I was just like,
they're all staffed.
You know, leaving our most vulnerable hanging. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for choosing North Little Rock School District in all the work that you do. Thank you.
You are appreciated.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Third grade retention.
So we'll ask Ms. Langston and Dr. Stoll will come and do.
Okay, thank you.
In fact, Ms. Langston is going to show us some data as well. So, ladies, I'll let you take it over.
This is really all Ms. Langston's show. She did this Monday night for our parents. And so this slideshow looks really long, but I've asked her to do an abbreviated version tonight since she's already done it once. But really, this is all her. I'm just her supervisor and get to sit up here proudly and watch her present this wonderful presentation. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Langston.
All right, thank you, everybody. Members of the board, I'm Carmen Langston. I'm coordinator of ELA Reading and Literacy, and I know this is something that is definitely weighing on everybody's mind, as it has been on mine for the past 3 years. So like she said, on Monday we went over this with parents, and you all have the handout that went out to all third grade parents tonight at parent-teacher conferences. As you can see, front and back, we have it in English and Spanish, either one. So the purpose of this is to inform not only you but the community of the portion of the law that deals with third grade promotion. So that law went into effect this school year, as you know. And you can see a summary here of how Atlas scores come out to be, either a level 4, 3, 2, or 1. And in order this year to be promoted into 4th grade, third grade students must score at a level 2 or above on the ELA portion, which is a combination of reading and writing, in order to be promoted to 4th grade. So for promotion purposes, again, that is a measure of how well a student is developing as a reader and a writer. And it is a combination of both, because even in the writing portion, it involves some reading. They have to read a passage and then write to respond. There are some just cause exemptions, however, and these are a list of some of those. And I just want to clear up some misconceptions that may be out there in the community, either for you all or for parents. We have heard some different things on social media, news stations, things like that, that were not actually accurate. So our students that have the most significant cognitive disabilities, they do not take the ATLAS. They take a different assessment called the DLM. If a student takes the DLM, they will be promoted to 4th grade. Other students that have disabilities that have an IEP or a 504 plan that are related to reading may be promoted to 4th grade if they have 2 years or more of well-documented science of reading aligned interventions that have been delivered with fidelity. So that just because you have an IEP does not mean you will be automatically promoted to 4th grade. Not all IEPs are about reading, and some haven't been in effect long enough to meet the qualifications. If a student is an English language learner who has had less than 3 years of English language learner instruction, then they would be promoted. And then if you've already been previously retained, you would be promoted. And then we look into a little bit more students that are receiving intensive support. So let's say a student has not performed well and they have been evaluated for special education, but they did not qualify. If we can show that they have had intervention for 2 or more years, then as long as we have that, they can go ahead and go on to the next grade level. Or an assessment portfolio. Now, this is few and far between, so we cannot rely on this. But if, in fact, a student suddenly scored a 1 on the end of 3rd grade ATLAS, and that was not in alignment with how they normally perform, normally they perform at grade level, and we can put together an assessment portfolio that shows that, then they could go ahead and go on. And then the last one here is that if they underwent an isolated traumatic event, let's say the day of the test, that impacted their performance on the assessment, then they would go ahead and go on. So those were the initial just cause exemptions that we received from the state. We received a hint at them, I would say, in the first couple of years, but they were not finalized. So we have been waiting for them to finalize those, and these were the initial ones that we have received. But most recently, we received 2 more just a couple of weeks ago. So we just received these, and they are if a student is provided summer school or if they participate in the high-impact tutoring program that meets the Arkansas definition of high-impact tutoring for literacy, they may be considered for promotion to 4th grade. Also, if they receive those tutoring services outside of school. So we have grants available for some students that the state releases to us that can, if they take advantage of that, then they could also be promoted to 4th grade. So that is supposed to come out to us. I just found out today on October the 27th that we are supposed to get the list of names for students who are eligible for at-home tutoring. So if you're listening now and you're a parent, please be on the lookout after October 27th for a letter from school, either in the mail or your email, both actually. We'll send it out both ways. If you get one of those, we strongly encourage you to take advantage of that. You will receive $1,500 to pay a tutor who can work with your child in the area of reading and writing. So for minimum communications, we are doing all the things that the state requires as far as communications, and we're going above and beyond. The state doesn't say we have to host a community Zoom night for everybody, but we did. We recorded it as well, and it is now posted on the district website. I uploaded it to YouTube, so I'm an English speaker, but obviously we have parents out there who speak other languages. So the closed captionings are there that they can turn it on in any other language. So if you don't speak my language, just press and hold closed captioning, and it will be available in a multitude of languages. And then, of course, the handout there you can see is also in front and back as well. So how have we prepared as a school district? Because obviously we've known about this, so we've been keeping our eye on it. The state requires a 90-minute literacy block. We have 120 minutes, so we're good there. We applied for the HIT grant funding for all 2nd and 3rd grade students in every building. Previously, it was just buildings who need support. I can't in good conscience only offer that to some students at certain campuses. So we have offered it to all, and we got the award today. So we did get the grant. We did not get as much as we asked for, but we have enough to meet the need. Some is most certainly better than none. So I believe we received $760,000 to meet those tutoring needs for both math and literacy for our 2nd and 3rd grade students, and also some tutoring as well at the 7th and 8th grade campus. We have been documenting interventions for the past few years, just like they asked, and we've been keeping up with that documentation. So if, in fact, we need it, it is there. We are tracking students who are going to take advantage of that at-home tutoring, and we have a grant to help us with that as well. So our coaches that you all have been seeing recently, they're helping me talk to parents. All of them were out in the hallways just now at the parent-teacher conferences, meeting with parents. We asked them to meet with them when they come out and ask them, did you get what you need from that teacher? Did you understand your child's grades? Do you understand how you can help your child at home? If not, here's how you're going to do it. And they're talking to them about the tutoring grant that's coming out as soon as they know those names. We're providing interventions in classrooms to all students in grades K through 5 who need them. Obviously, we're screening for dyslexia indicators, and we're writing intensive reading plans for any students who need them. We're providing at-home reading plans to eligible students. So anybody tonight who is at risk of possibly not meeting a level 2 or above on the Atlas, their teacher spoke with them tonight, and they gave them a plan. And it's an at-home agreement. It says this is what the school is doing for your child, and this is what we need you to do for your child at home, so we can partner together, because it's going to take everybody. Parents sign it, and everybody acknowledges that this is the responsibility that we hold. Again, we provided those sheets. We provided the 3rd grade promotion night, and then also the communications team did a short video of me on Monday that they're putting out on all the social media with the information as well, just an abbreviated version. We're tracking all 3rd graders right now on interim 1. I know Ms. Williams is speaking about data. We don't have the data in yet because it's interims now. Only the 6th grade campus was able to speak to that because they're the only ones who have finished the test. So the test window is now, so it's beginning to come in. And as soon as we have it, we will most certainly report that to you. We are providing resources to families at home. If you are a family and you're listening now and you are not able to watch, please go to www.nlrsd.org, click on the menu in the upper right-hand corner and choose departments, and then you'll see curriculum. Once you go to the curriculum site, there is a multitude of resources there that you can click on to help your child in any subject area, but reading especially. There are parent notes on there that tell you what your child is learning every 9 weeks in every subject area, and it gives tips for how you can reinforce what's being taught in the classroom at home. So please take advantage of that. Again, you know about the attendance campaigns. We've been tracking kids, and these ones that are scoring lower, their attendance is not so good. So that is very, very important, not only to be at school, but to be at school on time, because most of the reading instruction starts at 7:50. That's when in elementary school we're teaching the how to read and spell part. So you need to be at school in class at 7:50, not scrambling in and trying to eat breakfast because you're missing out on the instruction. We also increased the number of kids who are getting dyslexia intervention in those lower grades in that more intensive program for K1. And then I'm going to be launching some reading campaigns for our community coming soon. So please be on the lookout for that, because we do want to increase reading at home and getting out the word about how important it is to read at home. Did I click? I guess I put a lot on here, how parents can help at home. Again, read to your child. Don't read to your child. Have your child read to you 20 minutes each night. Ask them questions about the story, like what was the main idea? Was there a problem in that story? What was it? What was the solution? How might you summarize it? Fact is, on Atlas, the questions that they are going to encounter are not simple. They are very complex. They're never going to get a question that says, who were the characters in that story? They're not going to get a question that says, what was the setting? It's asking them to analyze that text and have to think very deeply and abstractly, starting in the 3rd grade. I would love at some point to come and bring you guys some samples of things that kids encounter, even in just the 3rd grade, and you might be surprised. It is a very difficult assessment. And then, again, please read the curriculum section under our website to know what your child is learning. Talk to your child about the importance of the Atlas, because many of our students have told us they did not take the test seriously, that they clicked through, especially in our middle and high school, because they are having to be coming to us to be screened, and they say, why am I having to take this reading test? Well, because you scored a level 1 on the Atlas. Oh, I didn't take that seriously. I just clicked through so I could be done. So please talk to them, because there are consequences of that, especially now in the 3rd grade, but even in middle and high school. If you score level 1 in reading on the Atlas, you have to take a reading class, and you won't get to take an elective class. You don't want to do that, so do your best. Don't give up. Many kids give up after 15 minutes, and they just start clicking because they're tired. So we have to have some resilience. And again, like I said, tardies are resulting in missing reading instruction. Instruction starts at 7:50. I did put some books on here for parents if they're going out and purchasing things, like through Scholastic readers, through Barnes & Noble, anything like that. These kind of go from more easy to more difficult. So the Bob books are excellent for our kindergarten and 1st grade students as they're just starting to learn to sound out words. And then you see the other ones up here that say, I can read, the banner at the top. Those are simple readers that are good for 1st and 2nd graders. And then on the bottom, as they get into like 3rd, 4th, or 3rd grade, 2nd and 3rd grade, the Captain Underpants, the boys love those. It's a big series that they really like to read. And then the A to Z Mysteries and the Magic Treehouse series, the kids love those. They're short chapter books that they can start to get into. There's mysteries in the Magic Treehouse. They're learning about history. So those are just a few suggestions there for you. And then last, you might want to be knowledgeable about what your child should be able to do before 3rd grade. So by the end of kindergarten, they're actually supposed to be reading. It's not just letters and sounds. They are supposed to know all of the letters and sounds, and then they have to be able to put those together to read and spell 3-letter words like cat, big, hug, things like that with short vowels. And they need to be able to write at least 3 sentences that relate to one another with phonetic spelling. So the words would not be spelled correctly, but we can kind of decipher what it would say. By the end of 1st grade, they need to be able to read all single-syllable word types with both short and long vowels. Blends, that's letters that go together to make, you can hear both sounds like B-R, B-L, S-L. You can hear both sounds. And digraphs, that's C-H, T-H, P-H. Those letters make a new sound. They need to be able to read and spell 2-syllable words that end in L-E, words like cycle, little, marble, and be able to write a paragraph about a topic with single-syllable words spelled correctly and understand what he or she has read in a simple reader. And by the end of 2nd grade, they need to be able to read and spell multisyllabic words, more than one. Be able to write a 2 to 3 paragraph essay with most words spelled correctly, and be able to understand what they've read in a picture book. And by the end of 3rd grade, you'll see the jump here. We need to be able to write an essay with 5 paragraphs, an introduction, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. They need to read and understand small chapter books. They need to be able to read for information or read to learn. They need to be able to think deeply about what they have read and be able to communicate their thoughts and ideas, and be able to answer inferential questions, not just what the text clearly says. So in conclusion, we have everything we need as far as our school district goes to take advantage of any just cause exemption that might be available. We ask that the students take the Atlas assessment seriously, try their best, and be resilient. And parents, please ensure that students are at school on time each day and work with your child on reading at home. If you need support, you can always let me know. My email is right here. And then I believe I have some data that I'll go over with you, but I'm going to pause here for questions.
Ms. McLean?
Very thorough.
Thank you, ma'am.
That was a wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Walker?
Carmen, good job.
Thanks.
You know this. We've had those conversations. Good stuff. I love that you put some books out there. I love that you've put it out on YouTube. I love that you've removed barriers that we may or may not have known or seen or even thought of. So good job on that. Chicka Chicka Boom Boom is one of our favorites that we read in our house, so thank you.
They get a lot of that in class. They read that book in class about 8 times. So.
Yes, I'm aware. They tell me every time they bring it, this is my favorite. I'm like, didn't we read that in class today?
Yeah, it's a lot.
But we still still a favorite in our home.
Okay, well, good. And they love repeated reading, so obviously pull it out again and again. That's how we learn.
Good stuff.
Ms. Williams?
Are you aware of what was done last year for the second graders to prepare them for this year?
Yes, ma'am. So for second grade, obviously we were looking at those screener data, and anybody who was not performing at grade level was given intensive interventions in the classroom. And then, of course, if they qualified for dyslexia, pulled out for those programs as well. And then we had the intensive tutoring happening from Book Nook. That was not my choice of program. It was not the best program. We know that kids need to learn from somebody in front of them, not a screen, and it was a screen program. So we did not get the results that we would have liked to from that. But what I've written it for this year is for people coming in and working with them.
How many third graders do we have?
How many third graders total do we have?
Yes.
It's been a while since I've looked at that because I use that for ordering.
Oh, we can give it another report.
We can give it another report.
Just doubt it. But the verification proof, you know, so parents gonna really be telling untruths and
yes,
say
ma'am.
that you all didn't talk to them, and you got that notification sheet where they have to sign off on it.
That is correct. They signed it tonight.
Okay, cause you know what they're gonna be saying.
I
right?
do.
And okay, you will give me that information. And third graders just took a test Wednesday, didn't they?
The results are not back yet. The window opened, but not everybody has tested yet. I believe we've only had 2 schools begin to test, but we don't get the results until they've taken both the reading and the writing. So that's 2 days worth.
Okay, but I did realize they were being tested. They said
They were
third
beginning,
grade.
yes. Some begin with the math or the science. They don't all begin with the reading like I would like for them to. But, you know, because kids, they get tired after testing for several days.
How do you feel about your third grade teachers?
I feel like, number one, I just want to say there's a lot of pressure on them. And being a third grade teacher is really hard right now. You know, a lot of our 4th and 5th grade, they are departmentalized, so you may only be teaching English language arts. Third grade is not always like that. You're usually teaching all of the subjects and having to plan for all the subjects and take grades. So I want to say our third grade, there's a lot on them, but they are capable, and we are working with them. Our coaches know that's definitely a grade level that we're keeping our eye on. So we're trying to give them everything that they could possibly need in the school. And then, again, parents outside of the school, we're hoping for that support as well.
I'm certainly glad that you recognize how much pressure they're under.
Absolutely.
And to give them that support that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And did you, on that sheet, did you all indicate that there would be summer schools? So it's in your report, but on your documentation that they signed, because I did read in the document and reading the laws, it said that they can go to summer school and they may be able to have that opportunity to move up.
Right.
But I didn't know how much documentation you had on the sheet.
Oh, right. So for that part, that's something that we're going to have to discuss as a school district because that is a new just cause exemption that they just gave to us. So we'll have to make funds available for us to have summer school. So I didn't know about that yet, so I didn't put that on there. But we did put the bits about the tutoring because we knew about that.
Well, thank you very much
Yes,
for
ma'am.
your services, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Tell me that number the next time I see you.
I certainly will.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Person West?
I just want to say I appreciate all the hard work and going into this, and I just want to make a plea to our parents and our community and our public that it's so important to read with your children. And it's just really important just to kind of sit at home and work on those things at the kitchen table and at a desk or however you do it. But I remember something that my children used to do in elementary school. I mean, they're good and grown now, but they used to have like these reading logs.
Yes.
Are they still doing that now? Or
So
is that
some schools
something
are
a
putting
little
them
different?
out, and part of my reading campaign, what I'm hoping to do, there's a new program called Beanstack, and I can use some of that grant funding that we got to purchase that. But what it is they'll be able to track their reading on there, and then they're earning like points and awards and things like that, and they can take assessments on there to go over their comprehension. They can read all kinds of books on there. So I'm hoping to get that. So it's like a reading log, but even more scaled up, a little better.
Because I just remember the level of accountability that both of them had, you know, that they had their dedicated reading log that they had. I had to listen to this 20 or 30 minutes every night, and I had to sign it. And
last year we partnered with a couple businesses, like if you remember the pizza
Hut.
thing. Okay, so that came back, and then last year also our local business, Nothing But Cakes. They put out reading logs for the community, and we gave that to all the schools. And if they filled it up and took it in, then they got a little mini buntlet for themselves and for their parent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was good. So we did do that last year. We haven't seen them put that out this year, but we have looked for it, so maybe they will. We'll be watching.
And one thing that I feel that is important that we don't really talk about enough is what are we as a district or as a community doing to address the parents that maybe can't read, that can't help their children when they get home? Because everybody's not fortunate to have that at home, and so therefore I feel like, and I have seen that that's a big barrier. Not in just a lot of homes, but those barriers are there. And I think I've shared with Dr. P a few years ago, I was talking to a parent about why she didn't come to her parent-teacher conferences. And she said, you know, she kind of blew it off, and I knew that answer. I was like, well, I mean, but help me understand, why would you not want to come and be involved in your conference? I said, you know, if I can come and sit with you if you're feeling uncomfortable or something. And she said, well, to be honest with you, I just don't read good, and I'm not a good reader, so therefore I don't want to go and embarrass my child, and I don't want to be embarrassed. So I know we have talked about it several times and for several years, but that is a demographic that I would like to see us maybe do something with or help in.
Ms. Langston, can you explain the grant that we were awarded, that we were one of only 5 school districts in the state of Arkansas to connect with families at home over literacy?
Yeah, so part of that grant is basically getting the word out about the importance of reading at home. So that's what the funding is for, not only for that, but also to kind of talk about those wraparound services, the attendance and things like that. So that is the goal of what we're going to be building from those funds as soon as we get them, is to get resources out there for those parents, to build that community of reading, not just in North Little Rock School District, but in North Little Rock as a whole. And I would just encourage, like you were speaking about, I've had a parent who came to conferences and she could not read anything, and neither could the dad. Do not feel uncomfortable. We are educators. We are here to help you. We want to help you. If you're not able to read that paperwork, let us know. We'll read it to you. We have no problem with that. Also, we have the wraparound services folks in the schools. You can reach out to them if you feel more comfortable. That's what their whole job is to help you feel comfortable with helping your child, whatever it is that you need, whether it be reading or other resources, clothing, housing, water, whatever it is. There's somebody there who will help you.
And I was just going to add, Sarah Robertson, who's over our wraparound services, she has a lot of things planned. She's coming in November to speak to y'all, but there's a lot of things that she has planned for our parents, and that is one of the literacy program for parents is something that she has in the works. So she'll be coming to talk to you a little bit more about that.
And I'm glad, because I see it, I hear it, and, you know, I look at it from the lens of a student or a child growing up that had an educator mom. So therefore, my vantage point is way different than maybe some of these other children that don't have that at home to hold them accountable. Because 20 minutes at our house wasn't enough. Like, you had to spend way more than 20 minutes. You had to spend way more than just 30 minutes on math. Like, it was a whole evening full of school again. So, unfortunately, we have gotten, as a community, have gotten away from being involved with what our children are doing and being involved with what's going on at home and what's going on in the schools. And so therefore, what I just have observed in the years is just, as a community, we have kind of just allowed Carmen to come home and just tell me what the game plan was at school today, and then that's just what I'm going to roll with. Versus, let me go up here and check and see what Carmen is not saying. It, our children are not telling the truth, but just making sure that as a parent we're involved and we're trying to make sure that we're having that extra layer or that added security of, okay, so I know that Carmen is struggling in this area, so therefore at home I know I need to have her to sit and read to me on this part, because I understand what the importance of reading is. So therefore, even with my little great niece, she's 2, but she has books at my house. We have more. She has 1 doll at my house, but she has a lot of books, and so she brings them to me, and sometimes we read the same ones over and over. She likes that mini Bo Dazzler or something, and it makes noise in it, so we read that all the time. But she just falls out laughing every time. But I just feel like that's that foundation that you have to start them so early with reading, and it's just one of those things that's just important. And I mean, it's just close to my heart on that, because I just understand that if as a community and as parents, if we do not have our children and hold them accountable at 2, 3, and 4, then you can't really just point the finger at 3rd grade and say, y'all didn't do y'all job. These kids can't read. It's more than that. It's a lot of times we have to see what it is that we're not doing as far as the community. That's my rant on that, because it's not always the district. Our children can't read. It's more than that. It has a lot to do with what's going on at home. Are you sitting down doing your part as a parent? Are you sitting there being accountable with your children, and are you having your children to be accountable to you? That's all. That's it. That's all. Thank you, though.
Thanks. Yes, and I will say for our kids, just because they're scoring a level 1 on Atlas doesn't mean they can't read.
No, it does not.
Because a lot of them, I've listened to them read. They can read, but that doesn't mean they know how to answer those questions. Yeah. So it's
and every
it's
child is not a good test taker. And every child is not going to sit there and go through each question like they should and spend the time on those questions.
Yes.
I mean, because back when we had those little Scantron bubble things.
Your Christmas tree.
By the time you got to the end, okay, C, B, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. But that's not a good thing.
Yes. So here's a little data about that. You all know that we just got the screener data back. We just got it on Monday. So I went ahead and grabbed that and took a look at it. And so on the left here, what you see, the blue is the students who scored at ready last year, meaning they were ready for grade level instruction in either grades K, 1, 2, or 3. So this is an average of all of that. And in January 31st of 25, we were at 18% and an average of those grade levels for ready. But right now, with just the very beginning of school having taken place, we got the screener data back, and we're sitting at 47% ready. And that's with very little instruction that has already happened. Because like I said, they take that in the first 30 days of school. So you really haven't had much instruction yet. So we're bound to go up from there. We're bound to. So I think that's very encouraging. And then I just kind of pulled that out a little bit. Looking at kindergarten, the average of students in kindergarten in our state who are ready is 59%. We had 3 schools that outscored the state, and that was Crestwood. They're sitting at 63% of kindergartners who are ready. Glenview, 60%. Indian Hills, 68%.
That's good.
We didn't have anybody outscore the state in first grade per ready, but Lakewood was just behind at 58%. In second grade, we have 3 there. The average on the state's 58%. Crestwood, 80. Indian Hills, 69. And Lakewood, 68. And for third grade, the state average is 60% of kids in our state are ready for grade level instruction. But at Crestwood, we have 86. In Indian Hills, we have 66. And at Lakewood, we have 73. So that's very encouraging as well. I wanted to pull down a little bit more into how our parents can help. These are our areas of weakness right now. In kindergarten, it's alphabet knowledge, just knowing the letter names. So if you want to help your child at home and you have a kindergartner, you can buy magnetic letters for your refrigerator and just work on like 4 letters a week. I say pull them down and say the names. M, S, B, A. Push them up and say the sound. S, B, A, like that. Once they start mastering them, then you can build little words and they can start sounding it out. But right now, we're just learning the letters and the names and the sounds. In first grade, we're low in decoding. That's the ability to sound out a word and read it. So we're just starting with simple words. We can do that with like those Bob books that I showed. Those are little words that you can start to sound out. Or you can use those magnetic letters and make some words there and start sounding out those. Use whiteboards, write something down, have your child sound it out. Second grade, we need to work on reading comprehension. So they need to read and answer questions about what they read. And then in third grade, we need to work on oral reading fluency. That's the ability to make my reading not choppy. I'm not sounding out the words every single time. It's starting to sound like talking. We say make it smooth like butter. The more you read, the more smoother it will be. The more smooth it will be. All right, that is all I have for you. Yes, ma'am.
I think we may be able to answer your question about third graders from that screen. 5. Okay, because this has 559 there, so I figured it has to be close. Yeah.
Oh, the total third
third
graders.
grade.
That's right, because there's the count right underneath those percentages.
And that's always a good rule of thumb. It's about 530 to 540 per each grade level throughout the district.
Okay. I thought it was somewhere around there, but I didn't want to put that out there and be wrong.
Well, I think collaboratively they've answered all of my questions, so thank you for your presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you all get these to the parents?
They gave them out tonight for the parents that showed up, and then anybody that did not show up, they'll send them home in the backpack.
Okay, because I know sometimes we put them in the backpack because some parents don't come home.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's a good job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you both.
Tier 3 differentiated support, North Little Rock Center of Excellence.
Yep. Welcome Dr. Thomas Rogers, Assistant Superintendent of Network A, and Dr. St. Louis. And is Mrs. McFadden here? No. Okay. Welcome.
It's good to see you, Dr. St. Louis.
Good evening. My name is Thomas Rogers, Assistant Superintendent of Improvement for Network A, Sensational 7 School Leaders. All right. Superintendent Paluski, Madam Chair, esteemed members of the board, we're here this evening to present our last school as we discuss the North Little Rock Center of Excellence as it relates to the Tier 3 work that we're doing. We welcome Dr. St. Louis back from medical leave, so this is perfect timing. She has hit the ground running, and she will be our presenter for this evening. Dr. St. Louis.
I think your mic's on.
Okay. Is it on now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Dr. Nadia St. Louis, Building Principal for North Rock High School and the Center of Excellence, and I will go ahead and get started. This is our data from the 2024-2025 Atlas data that you can see presented here for all ELA, science, and mathematics. So last year, we used data to, the first thing was our Atlas summative data. We did have a structured Tier 3 intervention during Flex, as well as implementing an Atlas boot camp in all of our tested subjects. We also utilized the Atlas interim data in our PLCs across the board, but specifically for our tested subjects, PLCs, biology, algebra 1, geometry, English 9, and English 10. For our graduation rate, we had one-on-one weekly meetings with our at-risk seniors. We prioritized seniors for summer school, second chance summer graduation, attendance contracts for our students who needed to gain credits, Saturday school for credit recovery, as well as twilight school. For our classroom walkthrough data, we tier our teachers and support them based on observational data. Our coaching cycles for our Tier 3 teachers, as well as weekly admin observation and feedback for our Tier 3 teachers. Last year for our attendance data, we utilized our PEPs at the time to track for truancy. They supported attendance contracts as well as supporting our at-risk students through our student tracker. And for our behavior piece, we do have weekly intervention meetings with the dean, assistant principal, counselor, and the PEP, as well as, again, that at-risk tracker and behavior contracts. So this year, in order to continue to make improvements in the Center of Excellence with our Atlas summative data, we have monthly data meetings that have been taking place. They were taking place during early release times, but we've got some time built in our calendar to continue those meetings with our COE teachers, as well as identifying our bottom 25% students for Tier 3 interventions. We make sure all of our teachers were trained in disaggregating Atlas data, as well as discussing our Atlas data in all of our PLCs. We did do our dyslexia screener, and Tier 1 instruction focus is some of the work we've been doing along the lines of our 2025 Atlas summative data. For our graduation rate, our early intervention meetings with our at-risk seniors have been taking place throughout the first quarter. We do have a collaborative graduation review committee that we started this year. We're working to bring back Twilight School. We are going to continue to prioritize seniors for summer school, as well as continue our second chance summer graduation, attendance contracts for our seniors, and we do have a lot of credit recovery happening on our campus during our flex time, as well as we have a credit recovery class. For our classroom walkthrough data, we continue to tier our teachers based on observational data and support them through the coaching cycle and observations. We have a math block plan that we utilize, as well as math observations and feedback using achievement level descriptors. For attendance, we have our wraparound support specialists that are running weekly data reports. Attendance contracts are continuing, as well as our at-risk student tracker. We do have weekly intervention meetings that take place for our behavior data, and that continues with our assistant principal, deans, wraparound specialists, and counselors, and we pull in our students, and they also utilize an at-risk student tracker. And then lastly, we have our Tier 3 intervention strategies that we're discussing in our PLCs, as well as our flex plan for Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if the COE admin team, so our theory of action states if the COE admin team focuses on Tier 1 math instruction and provide these supports for teachers, which include Tier 1 instructional support for Tier 3 teachers, data-driven instructional practices, timely and targeted feedback, and observing math instruction, then we believe that teachers will be better equipped to provide rigorous instruction. This includes using best practices across all content areas and effectively implement the math plan for intervention. And we will meet the following goals, which include increase our COE letter grade from 380.6 to 385.0 for the next school year, for this current school year, as well as increase our level 3 and level 4 Atlas and ELA, math and biology, and increase our on-time graduation rate. I'm Dr. Nadia St. Louis, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Ms. Person-West.
Oh, I thought we were starting on it. Okay. I know from just past history, COE has been the premier grade, I guess, of the secondary level. What, in your opinion, is going on? As far as, as far as COE used to be an AB school. I mean, AB grade, rather. So in your opinion, what do you see, or what barriers do you feel that you're running into as far as the decrease as far as the grade there? Do you feel that it's more of a discipline issue that you're running into that's causing like the grade to deteriorate? Do you think it's lack of support, or what, in your opinion, why do you think that is? Either one of them.
Well, this is just my second year with the Center of Excellence, so I can't speak to the history of the letter grade. I think since I've been at the high school, I don't recall being an A or B, but I think going from a C, I can speak from going maybe from the C to a D, just the transition year with a new administrator, as well as there was a huge turnover in the COE. And so honestly, I feel like, we did a data review. They did one when I was out, and, they're proud of the fact that we were able to make the gains that we were with such a turnover in the Center of Excellence. So we had about 75% of the staff who left when the previous principal retired. So it was a lot of transition year last year.
I didn't realize it was that many.
It was a lot.
Okay, so that makes sense. As why, not saying it isn't, for me, not an excuse, but I get to where sometimes you just have to kind of almost start over to then make those gains. Do you find that you have are there any other barriers that you feel that you're running into that is causing the issue for you, other than just the change of administration or new teachers? Oh Lord. Okay. You want to answer? You don't want to answer? You won't?
I don't really know the best way to answer. I will say that, we're trying to focus on a new school year. I think last year was a difficult year. 2 of our tested subject teachers, they were on leave probably from February till the rest of the year. So we just had to overcome a lot of challenges. We're in a different place this school year. And so it's hard for me to speak to a lot of barriers. Because last year was it was a lot. It was a lot of different challenges just kind of taking on a second school. But I will say the staff did a great job, transitioning, and I believe our letter grade will go back up this school year with the work that we're putting in place.
And I mean, just talking with your staff, I feel like they feel that you're supportive of them, and I think, you just never know unless you ask. So I appreciate that. That's all.
Ms. Williams?
A good report. Hey, Dr. St. Louis, would you tell me what a math block plan is?
So we created a structure plan for our math teachers to be more focused and intentional on what they're doing in their math classes. So we want to see a bell ringer in every math block. We don't want to see the sit and get with instruction in math. We want to see some very specific math strategies. And so we like to, because the high school is on a 80 to 90 minute time, students don't learn well with this just sit and get for 90 minutes. So we want to work with our teachers on blocking off their time in math. So making sure we've got 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, 10 minutes here to keep their mind where they can focus a little bit better. If you just do sit and get math problems for 90 minutes, our students aren't going to capture the content.
Okay, the next question I was going to ask you, when you said the wraparound support specialist, weekly data reports and contacts, do they do both of those jobs? Do that wraparound person, that he or she do the attendance contract as well as the at-risk student tracker?
So they work with our intervention team. So the intervention team includes assistant principal, dean, counselor, and the wraparound specialist, and they utilize our attendance data to focus on our students who are truant, our chronically absent students, students who need extra support, and they're pulling that data. So it's not just one person. They do have a way they track the data for Ms. Roberson, but they work along with a team to support our students because, attendance can be a concern on our campus, and so they work together to support our students who might not be coming to school as often as we'd like.
So when you find out there's a student like me, I've been targeted 5 times already. So you all create a contract and have me to sign it.
So the contract is really more for, I don't know if you all know, we changed our credit, the number of days a student can miss and not receive credit. It was 12, it's now 7. So as we're starting to see those kids, like they're at their 5th attendance, we're like, red alert, red alert. So we start talking about those contracts for students where we feel like we've got to capture them before they fail that course due to their attendance. But we also, if we start seeing students who are missing school often, this is where we are going to call the parents. We might do an at-home visit. You know, we don't want them to drop from our school. We want to see what support do they need. Why are they not coming to school? So those are some of the approaches that we take.
Thank you. Very good report.
Ms. Walker.
I'm glad to hear that Flex is being used for credit recovery when needed. That's good to hear. I had a question and then I completely zoned out when Dorothy was speaking, so I can't even remember it right now.
It's okay.
I'm fixing to slip a piece of candy in my mouth just for everyone to notice and see. With that being said, because my blood sugar.
Well, it's not about the band. She would know anyway.
Oh, there you go. So with that being said, house COE attendance, I know we just briefly spoke on it, but with our children, when they're missing 5 days and the contract says 7, that does affect our letter grades, that does affect our overall. We briefly spoke on that earlier, on how that affects our city as a whole, our housing, the tax that we're paying with the millage that's coming out, the overall grades throughout the entire school district, not just COE.
Correct.
So everyone involved. To piggyback on top of that as well, is how is the discipline working this year with the no cell phone policy? So 2 questions in one.
Okay. So I do want to say with attendance, there's a whole process. We do a letter 3 days, 6 days, 9 days. So we have our attendance clerks who are working there. We have our RAP specialists as well as our team. So we are really trying hard to capture those kids because we know when they're not coming to school, they're not getting the instruction that they need. In terms of the behavior, you know, I just got back last Thursday, so I've just been here so I will say since I've been back, like we've not dealt with any like major behaviors or anything like that. I haven't looked at data and all of that to see how things were while I was out, but I will say that with our cell phones, it can be a distraction at times, you know, trying to make sure everyone's keeping them up, but I believe our students are into a more consistent practice of putting their cell phones away, not having them out. So I don't feel like we're having to deal with that as much. We really try to get with our parents on really helping us enforce that during the school day. And so from the start of this year to now, I've seen a lot less students, a lot less parents having to come to the school with the cell phones. And it's helping them focus more in class, and it's limiting a lot of drama because they don't have the cell phones to distract them.
That's good news, right?
And not to mention they talk to each other.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
In here you have at-risk student tracker. Is that a software or how is that done?
So we try to identify our students in, like I would say, 3 flag system, students with the behavior, concerning behavior, grades, and attendance. And so we can identify those students just based off of data. So if they are not doing well in their classes, like this first report card that came out, students who are chronically absent and students that we've seen with multiple behavior infractions, we can run reports and align those to see who our most at-risk students are. And so based off of those reports, we're trying to support those students with some behavior interventions.
Okay. Glad to see you back.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a great report.
I can't think right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one question.
My sugar is dropping.
Again, welcome back, Dr.
Thank you,
St.
Dr.
Louis. This is a question that often has come up with the school board, and since you're here, I think it would be an appropriate time to just explain it. So currently, between the COE and the high schools, roughly around 2,000 students, I believe. At the high school, you have 5 assistant principals. You have 1 assistant principal at the COE, so that's 6 assistant principals, including yourself as 1 principal. That's 7 administrators. And then you have 6 academic deans. Can you explain to our school board the role of the academic dean? That is something that they have asked, and we've certainly explained it, but you've got the largest amount of academic deans, so I just give a 30-minute, not 30-minute, excuse me,
like, wait a minute now.
a 30-second commercial
Back
for
up.
I just told you my sugar was dropping.
So I would
just
say,
an overview. of
yeah,
the
so
academic.
we have, the way our building is set up is really kind of to support each academy cohort of students. So each academy cohort of students, and I would say including the COE, has an assistant principal, a dean of students, and a counselor. So you can name any student, and that student has those 3 individuals to support them. The assistant principal is the instructional leader within that group. They're going to observe those teachers. The dean of student support is to really support around the social emotional piece for our students, whether that's behavior, providing wraparound support for students, being someone who's helping with conflict resolution, just things that students need, and things that are distracting students from their academic success. Those deans are there to support that work so we can help make sure students are in class getting as much support they're needing from their teachers. Deans can also work with teachers around classroom support, around teachers who are struggling with classroom management because they're seeing some of those major issues. So like I got to meet with our freshman academy team, our assistant principal, dean, and counselor. We were talking about some of our 9th grade gaps that we're seeing and how we can support some of our teachers and things like that. So our deans really support, to me, the kind of behavior and social emotional piece so we can have more time for students to get the academic support in class.
I thought of my question now. Correct me if I'm wrong, but now the graduating class of 2026 started in the 9th grade academies.
Yeah, this
So
will be our
all of
first group.
This will be the first group that has gone through
Correct.
all of the academies. That's
Yeah,
what I thought.
and we should see that reflected on our letter grade because that's part of the letter grade piece is that readiness. And so this will be the first group that has been completers through a pathway.
That's what I thought. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Dr.
you all
welcome
so
back.
much.
So
Have a
glad
good
to
evening.
have you back.
Oh,
Wishing
thank you.
well,
I'm
Sarah.
glad to be back.
Thank you,
We are,
Dr. Rogers.
what's next? 2026 election documents.
And I think Mr. Brown just going to provide, this is just an information item, Mr. Brown and Colonel Stanger. This shouldn't take us that long at all. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Dr. Polisky, members of the board. Annually, Arkansas law requires annually that we put information in front of the voters that discloses the budget that's basically 2 years out and discloses your millage rate for them to approve. And unless we're, history has shown, unless we have an active millage campaign and we're soliciting votes, this annual election always fails. And then if it fails, it says you revert back to the last past millage, which will be the last successful millage, which would be our current rate. So this is documents that Beardsley, First Security Beardsley has prepared. And what we have to do, annually you all would approve the language of the ballot initiative, and you all would approve the publishing of the budget. So if you would look on, I believe it's page
6. Yeah, I see this suggested motion.
5.
6.
Oh.
So we're just going to cover it as an information item tonight. And then we'll do an action item at your next special meeting. But the budget information is for fiscal year 28. It's the page after the suggested motion.
Mr. Brown, hang on one second. I just got a text that they can't hear you. Sorry.
I didn't think so. Yes.
Is the red light on at the bottom? I can't see. It is on?
Test.
Okay, now we can hear you.
Okay, so the page after the suggested motion, details the fiscal year 28 budget. We're in current year 26. So this is projected out 2 years. It's non-binding, but this is the district's projection that we've worked on with Mr. Beardsley to develop a budget for 28. And then what's the most important thing is that you're approving is that the millage language in the paragraph sections under the budget equal our new millage rate. So the 50 on the second line of that paragraph is 52.3 mils. And then I believe a little more than halfway down over on the right-hand side, it says 52.3. And then the next line has it broken apart. Our millage is broken into 25 mils for maintenance and operation and 27.3 mils for debt service. Those add together for 52.3. And then the last line, right above the signature, refers to 52.3. Then the next page is the sample ballot language that we would send to the paper and have it advertised. And that also, we have to make sure that the 52.3 is our accurate millage, and it is. And about midway through, it also breaks apart into 25.0 mils for maintenance and operation, 27.3 mils for debt service. Those add together for 52.3 mils. So your suggested motion that we'll cover at your next meeting would be to adopt the proposed budget that's for fiscal year 27-28 and to approve the related sample ballot that we would advertise in the Democrat Gazette. We're required to advertise that 60 days prior to the election, and that election is going to be held in March of 2026. I believe it's March
3rd.
March 3rd of 2026. So we'll have to advertise. We'll go ahead and advertise early to make sure there's no problem with printing it accurately in the paper. That's happened before. And we have to re-advertise it accurately if that happens. But we'll advertise it early, get this posted, and we'll be kosher with Arkansas law.
Can you make sure, because that the next meeting, you have the suggested motion in there again?
Yes.
He always types it up exactly the way it needs to be read.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you could have that as well.
We will. Yes, ma'am.
Are there any questions, Ms. McLean?
No questions.
No questions.
Ms. McLean?
Very well put together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
2025 annual report to the public.
We'll welcome Mr. Barnes to, I believe you do have the published handout. So welcome, Mr. Barnes.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Welcome, Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, thank you. So the annual report, this is something that we do every year. It looks back to 2024 to the previous school year. So in this case, it's the 2024-25 school year. You all have a copy of it already, and we printed a couple of copies to go to our different schools and the different departments, and it's also on our website as well. So this is on our site, on our website as well, and this is, again, just a look back. We're required to do this by the Department of Ed, and so we're just being compliant. So I can click through it. Sure. Okay, then. This is the district profile from the 24-25 school year. This is based on the October 1, 2024 student enrollment. So, you know, enrollment fluctuates throughout the year, but this is the numbers from 2024. So, you know that we have a very diverse school district. So that gives you the demographic report from pre-K through 12th grade. Some numbers here that we should be proud of. Tells you the number of AP exams taken, and we had a really good number of AP advanced placement scholars from this last school year. Tells you our number of breakfasts and number of lunches that we served last year. I know, talking to child nutrition, they're going to try to increase that this year. So we'll be looking forward to that. Also tells you a different breakdown of the percentage of English learners, students enrolled in special ed, and also our gifted and talented. Revenue and expenditures, just telling you how much money we had coming in and how much money is gone out, and you know that the money that is left over goes into our building fund for savings. So that information is in the report there. Big thing for last school year, the passing of the millage. So we're excited about that, and we're already seeing some of those results. As far as if you go over to the middle school campus, you see that they have demolished a great bit of that building, the auditorium and the 500 building that they call it.
Yeah.
If you look on social media, I know you went to Northeast, so see a lot of nostalgia. People talking about they spent a lot of time in that building. But we're making progress. So we'll be seeing things going up there. As you know, we also keep the community updated with the project on our website, so they can always visit that. Some other high-level district happenings over the school year. The Academy started the Fusion program. Kira Dunn, you all recognized her last year and this year, but she scored a perfect on the ACT. 7th Street Elementary, has been renamed to honor the North Little Rock Six. And our district also hosted baseball and tennis tournaments. Class of 2025 profile, we have 2 graduations, one in the May and then one in summer. And so that's just a profile of those graduates. Again, the annual report is available at the link, and it's also on our website. Are there any questions? Ms. McLean, because I think I know what you're going to ask. So we are going to mail some of so we created a postcard. We thought about it because we cannot.
I'm so fascinated.
Yes, I read her mind.
What am I thinking right now?
Yes. So, this is a 16-page booklet, and that would be super expensive. So we thought about, my team and I, we thought about a creative way to do this. So we have created a postcard, kind of gives you highlights of what's in the annual report, and there's a QR code where people can scan so that they can read it. Now, it's very expensive to mail so many. We can't mail it to every North Little Rock resident, but there is a great portion of the community that will receive it. So
Hallelujah.
Yeah, so I thought we worked on that. I thought you would be pleased about that.
Oh, yes. I'm very happy about that.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
this is marvelous.
Thank you.
Y'all have done an excellent job on this. It looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No questions, great report.
Thank you.
It's really nice to see that data right there and at your fingertips, and just for our community to see that we are serving all of our children, no matter where they are in life. We're meeting them where they are, and we're serving them. So thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Williams?
Great report. Thank you for your services.
Thank you.
Ms. Person West?
I enjoy getting these every year. I think that it is just wonderful how we just kind of capture what we're doing and how we're doing it and how things are progressing. So thank you.
Thank you.
And great to see you have some help now. You have
Praise
a
the
great
Lord.
team.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you.
because
And thanks to you all.
Poor Dustin was just running around the district with his little camera and pen.
Thank you.
And speaking of your team, thank you again for jumping in and answering the questions on social media when they come up, and directing the parents of where you can find the information at, and putting out the fires before they become explosive.
Yes, ma'am.
So I
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you.
Sparks before they come fire.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Fred.
Down there, 12.6 revised license personnel policies. 3.01 licensed personnel extra compensation and high school principal census assessment index.
So as Mr. Smith kind of lines this up, remember you had approved the stipends. So what Mr. Smith is coming back with is now the policy has to change now that you've approved all that. So that's really, this is going to be a policy change, and it should be very brief, but go ahead, Mr. Smith. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Paluski, Madam President, members of the board. As Dr. Paluski said, I'm Jacob Smith. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of School Improvement for Network B. What you see before you is we went back after the board approved everything from the last meeting in regards to the adjustment in stipends and contracts. And so what we did is we went back and adjusted the appropriate policies, which was 3.01.1 and 3.01.1A. But we are starting right here. What we have developed is what we are defining as our stipend schedule for non-athletics and athletics and administrative contract multipliers. And so the first two columns, the athletic stipends and the non-athletic stipends, are what were addressed. And if you will see, everything was either already encompassed in the policy or it was already prevalent within how we were compensating, and then or it has been presented to you as a change. And so the only things you will see that would be of reference is there was an adjustment made, and it actually made the cost less in regards to the middle school coaches, which is why those are highlighted at the bottom. We had those listed as just middle school assistant coaches, but we ended up breaking them up in order to address there was some issues that transpired as far as how individuals were being compensated both at the middle school and the high school level positions. We went and addressed that. And then the notes at the bottom, the B and G stands for boys and girls. It equals 2 teams and is 2 separate stipends. The B/G is equal to 1 team and 1 stipend position. All coaches will work a contract that serves the duties of the position, and the number of days is established by the superintendent and the athletic department. On the non-athletic side, the note is pretty much the exact same, but it says all staff receiving a non-athletic stipend will work a contract that serves the duties of the position and the number of days as established by the superintendent and their direct supervisor. And then the only other thing I included is the modified language of the policy, but I don't think I need to read all of that to you, just whatever questions individuals might have. I'd love to take it at this time.
Ms. Person West?
I don't have any questions. Do you, maybe we should start this process over with. How about that next one?
Good Lord. Years in the making.
Just like a little insight. No, I don't have any questions.
Ms. Williams?
Oh, when I got to adding this up, but anyway, $13,553 for head coaches stipends. But a better day is coming for you teachers. So anyway, Mr. HR, thank you for your report, and thank you. I read it all, and then I subtracted it all and kind of gasping here the amount of money that they got, and teachers don't have nothing. Okay, thank you. You can move on.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Wankum?
Thank you. Point of clarity, this has already been passed. We're not fixing to pass this again.
Correct. It's just a recapitulation adjusted in policy of what's already been passed.
So we're changing the words, not the numbers, is the point.
Yes, ma'am.
And so with that being said, also, I just wanted to reiterate to the public that this has already been done, and we are, simply as you stated, we are changing the policy, the words, to match the numbers that we have changed it to.
Yeah.
So just for it to be out in the public, for them to understand a little better. Thank you.
Speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McLean?
That is unless Miss Angela Person West says, let's redo all of this again. No, she's not going to do that, and
No,
neither am
ma'am.
I.
Please, no.
Everything looks great.
Ready to roll.
All right. I
No
know we
questions.
passed it.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Are there any construction updates?
Yes, Madam Chair. We'll pop the pictures up here in a second. But quickly, the events for this week was the big spectator sport of watching a real wrecking ball that you typically don't see anymore, but they had to bring one in because the support beams were so strong.
Scroll that.
That building.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Perfect.
Thank you very much.
So you can see the kind of square box that was left over. The support beams were real strong, so they brought in actual crane, wrecking ball, and knocked that down. It'll take about 3.5 weeks-ish to remove all the rubble, and then they'll take it straight down to the slab. They've already moved part of the slab and have dug some test holes to look at the dirt underneath. I won't go into all the kind of dirt they found and stuff, but I'll just bottom line is there's some bad dirt that is not structurally sound, and that's because if you look at the topography from the Texas Roadhouse side, where the water flows, it literally flows down underneath that. So we're gonna fix the drainage issue. They're gonna do a cross cut. They pull out that bad dirt and put good dirt in, and then we'll build on top of that. And if you know, it literally slopes also down from east to west. And so the hope is as you get closer to where the 7th and 8th grade campus currently is, that we won't have to do a cross cut because that dirt should be sound. We'll do test holes. However, the cost for that is already calculated into the overall budget that was set aside because those kind of things happen. It does not cut into the contingency money for very unexpected stuff. This was kind of expected, so that's already built in, and we don't have to. We're still not touching any contingency funds yet.
Yay!
I just want to know where's my brick.
We have lots of bricks.
One thing, go get you a brick.
I can bring you a pallet of them.
Any questions, Ms. McLean?
No.
Ms. Wancombe?
No questions. I'm glad to hear that Nat Holtz is taking care of the flooding issue because for years back, right where the farm was at, we've lost a lot of that water that came through. And then where KJ's classroom was at, the back side of the auditorium, if you will, makeshift class, many times her classroom flooded. So to hear that we are fixing that, moving forward, it's great to hear. Thank you for that.
Ms. Williams?
We paid the money to have it fixed, but we had, what you call them, sidekick men who just come in and throw something together. We always took care of our buildings, but it was never followed up, okay? Go ahead. You didn't understand that.
I'm listening.
You weren't here. So
Man,
it's
I'm
all
just
right.
listening. It's all good. I'm
Ms.
just
Person
listening.
West?
Just made me forget my question. Okay, just for clarity, as Rochelle like to say, for the clarity, let me just make now, just to put it out there in the public, this has the wrecking ball and the demolition, that's during non-school hours. For the I mean, like, as far as the noise, most of the noise is happening after school hours, correct?
Yeah, I was there a couple times last week. They were working with the wrecking ball. It's not that loud.
Right, but it's not just like what classes are like
What the contractors
impacted.
do is they get with both principals and do a weekly schedule. So if they're testing, there's things that they don't do.
Gotcha.
And deliveries and removal of debris and that kind of stuff, equipment coming in and equipment leaving, they don't do it when we drop off and pick up. It doesn't intermingle with bus traffic. So because of that, they'll do a little bit of stuff on the weekend to stay on schedule because if you really think about it, they're working on a compressed time until summer months hit. Then it's,
But yeah, that's kind of what I was getting towards. It, like, because when we sat in some of those meetings, they told us, how they were going to work around a lot of that scheduling and the testing and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I was going to make sure that the public knew around testing and all that stuff.
Yes, ma'am. That's exactly what they're doing.
Okay. I couldn't get in my thoughts. I'm getting sleepy. But
Doing good.
We're around the same.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel.
I have one more question for you, Mr. Jacob. Mr. Smith. In your report that you sent, okay, it's just a question for clarity. The report that you had in the packet about number of days that people had and they've been scratched all through things.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you have a clear, clean sheet that looks like this to let us know everybody who got 245 days? Do you have it? I have all of the way that was scratched all through, but could we just get a clean copy?
I can bring that, yes, ma'am, to the
Because
next
it was kind of
board meeting.
confusing. If anybody was looking at it, it wasn't sure actually who got all the 245s or 240s because you were making adjustments in the thing. This is an old one, and I was just showing it to you the way you had it before. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I can bring you a cleaner copy.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
We are down to action items. The first one is employment of personnel.
Madam President?
Yes.
I move that we accept the superintendent's recommendation and approve the employment of personnel as discussed in executive session.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second that we approve the employment of personnel as discussed. Being that it is employment of personnel, there can be no discussion. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Disposal of district property.
Madam President, the superintendent recommends the purpose of this item is to seek permission from the school board for the disposal of 11 non-working, non-usable school buses and 1 non-working, non-usable truck.
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
I move that we give permission for the disposal of 11 non-working, non-usable school buses and 1 non-working, non-usable truck.
Mouthful.
Second. For all the non-working.
It has been properly moved in second that we approve the disposal of district property as listed. Any discussion? Any discussion?
None.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
None.
It passes. 2025-2026 proposed revised district calendar options.
If I could get some help either from you, Mr. Smith, to pull up the actual calendar, just so we can show the public. It should be linked in there.
Yes, sir.
If I could, just so the public and the board can see.
Are you talking about, sir, the one we're proposing or the current one?
No, the one that's proposed. It just,
The proposed.
if we could just hit the link in, there you go. Perfect. So, Madam President, members of our Board of Education, myself and my staff have met with both the LPPC and the CPPC, and after meeting with the LPPC, they had a recommendation. If you remember, there were a couple options. One was to just wipe out all the early release days, call it that, or add in 4 additional professional development days. Their recommendation, which I completely support, is eliminating the rest of the early release days for the remainder of the school year, but add in 2 professional development days. And that would be in March 13th. If you look at March and follow, it'll be in purple. That'll be at the end of the 3rd quarter, going into the 4th quarter, and also that's a week before spring break, but it's also after spring break, we're really going to start the testing process. So both administrators and teachers wanted some time to prepare for testing. That completely made sense. And then they did keep our recommendation of the last day, which is for students will be on the 21st, but the final day for teachers will be the 22nd, and that will be an all professional development day. And many of the teachers spoke about now with Atlas data, once the testing window closes around the middle of May 15th, many of them, we should be able to get that within 48 to 72 hours now, which will be great. So many of the teachers said, hey, at least on that last day, I could really start to look at my data as we went off into the summer. So with that said, both LPPC and CPPC have recommended the calendar, and therefore the superintendent recommends the approval of the 2025-2026 revised district calendar as presented in open session this evening.
I have a clarity question.
Sure.
I see the IWs, so
Which one?
where you
The inclement weather days?
Oh, are those? They're going to take the place of the early release like we had to do before when it snowed?
So now that we're under a minute calendar, we have many options at our disposal. We could extend
Okay.
the day. We could do many things. That is an antiquated state law before there were calendar options that has still stuck around, that you are still required to put 5 inclement weather days in any calendar you build. And so they're a placeholder. They're to inform the community if needed. They're there, but we have many, many options at our disposal.
Gotcha.
I also would like to provide one quick point of clarity as well. Those 2 additional PD days, those are K through 12. I did not do a good job of stating that last time. Pre-K is under a different auspice and is required to have a full traditional calendar. And so even the purple PD days that were already in there, pre-K would be open and they would have attendance for that program. So those additional 2 days, that will be the case as well.
Thank you. Ms. Person West?
I have no questions.
Ms.
Thank you.
Williams?
I have no questions. You want a motion?
No, she gotta finish going down.
No.
Did you have any questions?
Okay, Madam Chair.
Yes,
I so
ma'am.
move that we accept the 25-26 proposed revised district calendar.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second that we approve the 2025-2026 proposed revised district calendar as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Standard rates of pay.
Yes, ma'am. So it was very, very quickly. It was brought last time for the classified side of the staff. One of the points of contention and concern in regards to the prior adjustments was the duty rate of pay. We had just a standard rate of pay based on an individual and their hourly rate of pay for that. We did not agree with that. We looked at other districts. They standardize a rate. We felt like $25.50 was an appropriate amount and can be compared to other districts. And so if there are any questions in regards to that, I'd love to answer, but the ask is that, which the administration supports, a rate of $25.50 for non-instructional duty for licensed staff members.
Which was 20.
Which was 20. And before that was their hourly rate of pay.
Right. I think Ms. Wonkum was the one that
She did.
asked for us to take a look at it, and we did, so we're bringing it back.
Ms. Person West, do you have any questions? Ms. Williams?
Did both groups agree to it?
The classified governed their changes, which you guys voted on last time. This is directly from the LPPC because it is only governed by them.
Okay then.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
did get it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
No questions.
Is there a motion?
Okay.
Madam,
Go ahead.
oh, I thought you said. Madam Chair, I so move that we accept 13.4 standard rates of pay.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second that we approve the standard rates of pay, 13.4. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
The regular meetings and special meetings.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I so move that we accept 13.5, 13.6 regular meeting minutes for September 18th, 2025, and special meeting minutes October 2nd, 2025.
Second.
It has been probably moved in second that we approve the regular meeting minutes from September 18th and the special meeting minutes from October the 2nd. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? They pass. The consent agenda.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I so move that we accept 14.1. Y'all stay with me. We finna roll. 14.1, bank reconciliation. 14.2, net legal balance worksheet. 14.3, monthly financial reports. 14.4, business office items. 14.5, payment of regular bills, not the other kind. And 14.6, facilities use request. And 14.7, approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second that we approve the consent agenda, which consists of 14.1, 14.2, 14.3, 14.4, 14.5, and 14.6. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes. Acknowledgements. The only one that I have, because I like to give them their shout outs. Since the last meeting, we went to Boone Park. Woo woo! We had Elena, Nicholas, Courtney, Amber, Titus, Jada, and Joshua, and they were dressed to impress. Thank you, Boone Park. Then we went to Ridge Road, where we had third grade. We had Gracie, Allie, Theodore, and Charles. Fourth grade, we had Alyssa, Damian, Bryson. Fifth grade, we had Mason, Anna, and America. Thank you guys for the visit.
Okay. Yes.
I don't know. I just acknowledge all of the educators and all of the hard work everybody's putting in.
Okay. I would first like to thank the North Rock Education Foundation. We were able to give $15,968 to 29 teachers, and we served every school, and that to me was a great day. And to you, assistant superintendents, I want to commend you for your walkthroughs and everything, but I would appreciate when you go in there, give me a little data. What was the results of your walkthroughs? You all been really doing some good work. I read every line, and I really, as a board member, I appreciate what you're doing. I just want to see some data. Okay, and thank the principals of social media. If you all are keeping up, they've been really putting some positive things out there about our elementary schools. It has been more than what you can imagine. And again, thank you for Ridge Road and for us to have the opportunity to meet the wraparound person who was so profound and happy in her work, and the donations that have been received for Ridge Road. And we're just so proud of her, and if the others are doing that, we need the opportunity to see it, Dr. P. Thank you very much. Hey, and you all keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, Mr. Brown. Keep it up. And I want to thank everybody in the district. Don't leave us, baby. Stay. Help us to grow. We grow here.
Okay, come on, Flag.
I just want to give a shout out to the athletic department. We've hosted the golf tournaments, tennis tournaments, and we've had a winner and first and second in our tennis for 6A region, and a doubles team, and they'll all be playing in the state tournament that we're hosting this coming Monday and Tuesday.
I do. Just a shout out to all of our educators and our parents. Obviously, tomorrow there's no school, so we got a little bit of a break. So it's always a good time in the fall. You're at this point, you're getting a little bit tired. So we're grateful for all of our educators. And I also do want to recognize Ms. Shannon Coleman, who is our new Director of Human Resources.
Welcome.
And we just wanted to welcome her to the North Little Rock family.
Welcome. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, I would like to say, I so move that we leave here at 8:37. Can I get a second?
It has been properly moved and seconded that
Third.
we adjourn. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're out.